We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Vikings Uncensored. We have worked our way out of the mini bye after a couple of disappointing weeks. Of course, the 12-round championship bout versus Detroit 2 weeks ago, and then the completely come out and do the one thing we said that they could not do, shit the bed game against the Los Angeles Rams of Anaheim. We're rolling back into it. Kind of hard to say that there's a must-win game at 5-2, but it's kind of a must-win game at 5-2.
Definitely a game of morality. I mean, right here for sure, if anything.
Absolutely. Good evening to everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining us. Always, Drewster, Doc, Norrisfius, everybody in the chat. Welcome. We got a couple of news item things to talk about. Not kind of a slow news week in the NFL, which is kind of surprising with the trade deadline coming up on Tuesday.
Right.
Half expected to see some more player movement by now, but I think there's a lot of teams, and I think Minnesota may be one of these teams included, that are kind of waiting to see how this week shakes out.
I agree.
Before anything is done. I know the Vikings, of course, did make one significant move this past week. Earlier on, I think it was Monday, announcing a trade with the Jacksonville Jaguars, bringing in left tackle Cam Robinson. Basically, the Vikings got Robinson and a conditional 7th-round pick, which basically goes away if he plays at all.
Drew's comment here down at the bottom.
We're getting to that, Drew. The Vikings gave a conditional 2026 5th-round pick that can go to a 4th-round pick, again, based on playing time.
I like the pickup, honestly.
I do too. I know there's some people. And then also on top of that, the Jaguars ate most of his $7 million remaining of his salary too. So we basically got him for a little, for a 10-game rental for little and nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I like to pick up. He's not your elite talent at left tackle, but he's somebody that can help you get by through the remainder of the season. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a good tackle in this league.
Yeah.
We saw, how the shit dropped off last Thursday when after we lost Darisaw. I mean, Quessenberry is a decent backup and a swing guy, but he's not somebody I want to stake the
rest of the season on at left tackle.
Yeah, the fate of the franchise over the next 10 games, hopefully more than 10 games.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, though. I do like Quessenberry as a step-in guy if something goes wrong during a game, but as far as game to game, I don't want to see Quessenberry out there every week. So
no. And, there was a lot of stuff being tossed around, the fact that they were going to move Blake Brandel out to left tackle and then put Risner in at
I
left
think that
guard.
initially was the first idea, was Brandel going out to tackle and Risner slipping in a guard.
Yeah, but I didn't like that idea either because, Brandel has been a pretty damn good
Right.
left guard this year.
And then if you go and you do that, I think this is maybe what you're getting at right now. If you go and you do that, then you lose out on possibly popping in Risner at right guard if Ingram continues this humongous downward spiral that has happened since the beginning of the season.
Yeah, that was part of what I was getting to. But the more important thing is when Blake Brandel was out at tackle, I mean, he was our swing tackle last year. So he struggled against speed rushers coming off the outside. When he's playing in a guard, he doesn't have to worry about that, and it makes him a much better player. You put him back out there again, and he's going to have that same issue.
You subjected him to that, yes.
Right,
yeah.
Which is why they went out and got Cam Robinson. I mean,
which is your middle of the pack type of tackle. I mean, he's not great, but he's not horrible.
No, I mean, he was good enough that the Jaguars franchise tagged him.
Yeah.
And I think
it's going to be great to be able to just plug him in there. That'll be nice.
Yep. I mean, I heard people say, well, he got benched in the, at Jacksonville for Leonard Little, but Robinson had gotten a concussion a couple weeks ago, and he was out for that. And then I think that I read some rumors this afternoon. I don't know how true these are or not, but that Robinson kind of got into it with his offensive line coach because they weren't going to put him back in after he was cleared from concussion, and he got upset about that when they told him he was benched.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of probably what led to them being okay with getting rid of him.
Open up to trade talk, yeah.
Drew throwing some knowledge down here. Yeah, just to my point exactly, I was talking about 2022. Brandel gave up 7 sacks on 180 pass plays.
Not ideal. So,
yeah, I think that was probably part of it, and plus to the fact that he's on an expiring contract, and I'm guessing they pretty much knew that they weren't going to be getting him back. So if you get rid of him now, the Jaguars obviously aren't going anywhere.
Right. It's not like he's old either. He's 29 years young.
29 years old.
That's pretty young at left tackle. So
yeah, I mean, looking at it, looking at some of the his PFF stats for the year. I mean, we all know what my thoughts on PFF for the most part, but a lot of times that is the best way to look at linemen.
Yeah.
I mean, when they physically don't have any other stat line other than getting, sacks, doing up stuff, but
it's a tool.
Yeah. I mean, he ranks 32nd overall out of 122 tackles in the league.
So that's above average.
Yeah. I mean, overall PFF grade is 69.4, 72.2 pass blocking grade.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah. 64.6 on the run blocking. He had given up 4 sacks this year, but
you got to remember he's down in Jacksonville too. That doesn't help either.
Good evening, Sonny. Yeah, I mean, Jacksonville's a mess down there. I honestly believe that Doug Peterson could be the next guy fired, and probably maybe during the season here yet even. But
I'm looking forward to see what Robinson can do for us there at the left tackle, and hopefully I'm not pulling too many of my hairs out.
Yeah.
So
no, the key is going to be what happened, or how they work him in this week. Does he start right off the get-go? Do they?
I think he does. I think he starts. But I was wrong last week about a couple of stars starting for us too. But I think the best thing is just throwing him in there. He's a veteran. He knows what's going on. It's just blocking scheme, the calls, and the language when it comes down to the offensive line. So
yeah. Yeah, Norspius doesn't trust PFF. The numbers are screwed. Yeah, I don't necessarily care for him either. I mean, I've made my thoughts on them known over the years. I've affectionately called them PFF'd up most of the time. But when it comes to ranking like wide receivers and defensive players and things like that, where you have actual stat lines that you can get off of it, I don't think it does much at all, but offensive lineman, you can use it. Like you said earlier, Lance, it's a tool to kind of at least come up with something for a ranking.
And even the eye test, from what I've seen from Robinson, is he's a pretty decent tackle.
Yeah, I mean,
he's a quality starter.
Yeah, I mean, truth in advertising, I don't spend a lot of my time watching Jacksonville Jaguars games, but in the games I have watched him, I mean, he's solid. And right now, that's solid is the best you can hope for at this point in the season. I mean, there isn't too many Pro Bowl left tackles that are just going to come waltzing through the front door.
No,
I mean,
no.
We heard rumors of them looking at guys like David Bakhtiari and things
I heard
like
he can barely fucking walk anymore. So,
I've heard the same thing. So I mean, that's just the thing. You're going to bring in somebody like that he hasn't been able to he isn't on a team at all right now. In the last 2 years in Green Bay, he's played a handful of games
because he can't stay on the field.
Yeah,
his body's starting to give out on him. So
he would have been a guy
what was it? A few years back we brought in what's his name out of retirement to play for us because our left tackle
Jake Long, back in 2016.
Yeah. Oh, geez, 2016. That happened back in 2016.
That was 2016. That was the Sam Bradford.
That was the same time we went fucking 5-0 last time, and then
we started. We started that season 8-0, and then finished like 8-8 or
Yep, and the tires fell off towards the end. Yep, 8-8. Yeah.
But yeah, that's. I mean, I like the Robinson trade, especially the fact that we didn't have to give up much of anything to get
exactly.
him.
Yes.
Now if we'd have given up a 3rd round pick or something like that, then I would have been a little more upset about it. But hold on, my voice is cracking out.
Yeah, that's a great point, Drew. That's about sums it up right there. Yeah,
absolutely. Disgusting act. Good evening. Yeah,
and that's a B grade on a Jacksonville team too,
right?
As well.
Yeah, I mean, is he a B plus grade? If he's even a B grade tackle still here, I mean, that's still better than what we were going to get out of Quessenberry, which was
right.
C at best. But with that, let's move right on into the preview of the Indianapolis Colts game. We talked about this a little bit, but there's more to digest as far as players being replaced, moved around, things like that. Probably none more important to the Minnesota Vikings, not on a player on our own team, but on the Colts. Announced earlier this week that the Colts were benching quarterback Anthony Richardson. And
I was really hoping that's who we were going to see this weekend.
I did too, because I had a good feeling that Flores's defense would have had a heyday against Richardson.
And that's the thing, Rhino. You and I had talked about earlier this week is that this Flores defense seems to be working pretty well when it comes to these younger quarterbacks. But once you get these veteran guys that have been in here in the league for some years, this defense is getting tore up.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's complexity when it comes to the young bucks and the veterans being able to handle it or what's going on, but something needs to be fixed on that defense. It's not the same defense that we've seen the first 4 weeks of the season.
No, but I think a lot of it is, Detroit showed it.
Is it Cashman being out? I mean, is that
I think Cashman is part of it. I don't think Cashman is the only thing. Discussing act, I'm going to get to that one in a minute. I've got it on my notes here. I just wanted to hit the Flacco thing first. Stafford showed it last week against the Rams. These older veteran quarterbacks
that have been in the league and seen it all.
Yeah, that can read a defense quickly and get the ball out fast. Those are the guys that have been having, Stafford.
And the guys that have been having a tough time are the younger guys, like the Strouds, the Purdy's.
Mm-hmm. Aaron Rodgers had trouble against
Jordan Love until the second half of that game was having a hell of a time against this defense.
Yep.
I
think last week, there might have been something, Cashman being out, I think hurt. And of
I
course,
think not knowing that Puka was going to be back hurt a lot.
yeah, I think that was the biggest thing. They weren't sure on Cooper Kupp, and they didn't think Puka Nacua was going to play at all.
And it was a huge surprise, I think, to us as fans, and especially to the Vikings coaching staff, as to having Puka and Kupp back in the lineup for the Los Angeles Rams was a huge.
Yeah, I think it caught them off guard, and they got caught in between their normal blitz packages and then trying to drop off in coverage on those guys.
That's a completely different Rams team with and without those two receivers on the teams.
The Rams are a good team when they're at when they have their full strength of weapons. Now, yeah, if you're Joe Bag of Donuts and John Smith at wide receiver like they had up until last week, yeah, then it. But when you're not.
But I mean, at the same time, we can't sit here and make excuses for this defense because it's the same defense that showed up the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, it has been. So, yeah, the biggest thing, with Flacco, he is a statue. He's not going to run. He's not going to move all over the place. Good evening, Nympha.
That's the same thing with Stafford and Goff, though. They're not going to run and move all over. They didn't run and move all over the place either.
No, they didn't.
So we need to figure it out. We need to figure out what the hell's the problem.
We haven't been getting home quick enough the last 2 weeks, and that's been the problem.
There hasn't been a good marriage between the pass rush and the coverage. Is exactly what the problem is.
Drew's been concerned with the run defense the last couple of weeks. Yeah, I mean, they had their problems last week, and then the week before, Jahmyr Gibbs just freaking tore us up. And that's you
take away that one big 45-yard run by Gibbs. I mean, yeah, Gibbs had a good day, but you take away that 45-yard run, and it's more pedestrian. But I mean, Kyrie and Williams, I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't expecting that against us.
No, I mean, I have Karen Williams on my fantasy team, and I actually put him on the bench because I figured that the Vikings were going to be able to keep him contained. And now this week again, we come into another very good back, Jonathan Taylor. We gotta keep him contained because if he starts running around on us, it could be a long night.
This is the week we need to turn it all around and get our mojo back. Is really what it is.
Absolutely. Bag of Donuts went to FSU. Yeah. Metellus was held on that Gibbs run. Yeah, he was.
You take out a couple of those fucking referee calls the last few weeks too. It would help us out too. But I mean, I ain't going to be the guy that's going to blame the refs for our losses. So
no. Discussing that. Hate to see it, but we need a true defense. We've been saying that for.
We knew that coming into the season. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. A lot of us did. You guys.
Yeah, I mean, we thought we were getting one, but ended up not happening. And yeah, the guys we've got are just guys.
Are you ready to get into that now? Going off of what he just said about LDR being activated for this weekend.
Yeah. So made the comment was made earlier. I think Norcius put it up there about.
I think it was a discussing the active action made the comment.
Well, there was Oh yeah, discussing ag mentioned earlier too. But yeah, Levi Drake Rodriguez will be active this week.
Finally,
confirming that today. And
not that he's the savior, but I would like to see him on the field. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest reason is Taki Tiamani is out this week too. So he's been active for the last several games. So now LDR will get his opportunity, and I'm hoping like hell that he can.
We need some pass rush at the interior of the defensive line. That's just what it is. We don't have a true standout defensive tackle. Harrison Phillips can't do it all. That's great, Drew. I love it. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah. I got Pat Williams. I sent him an IM too, but I haven't heard back from him either. So
we haven't had a Kevin Williams like disruptor on that defensive line since Kevin Williams has been gone.
No.
So, and that's very unusual for us as Vikings fans because me growing up, one of the staples of our defense was always those defensive tackles, and having a stout run defense. And we had, like I said, we haven't had a disruptor in the middle of that defensive line since we've lost Kevin Williams.
No, I mean, we had a little bit Delvin Tomlinson. I mean, he was kind of a stuffer, but he's not
Tomlinson and what's his face, Linval for a little
Yeah.
bit there, and they weren't even on Kevin Williams' level, but they
Well,
were above average.
they were nose tackles. They weren't
Right,
pass rushers.
right.
But yeah, you look back over the years, we've talked about that. Yeah, Kevin Williams for so many years, John Randall, Keith Millard, all of those guys going back.
Chris Hovan. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Demetrius Underwood,
man.
all those guys,
Yeah.
But all the way back to the Purple People Eaters. I mean, we've always had
Gary
good
Ball,
defensive tackles. And
Yep.
up until, like I said, the last several years, we haven't.
Yeah. And there for a good 15 years, we had the Williams wall. Then we followed that right up with, Kevin Williams. And I mean, we had Randall in there, and then we had the Williams wall right after that. I mean, for a good 15 years there, we had a good interior defensive line. I mean, we were blessed for far too long, apparently.
And now we don't have a true nose tackle, which running a 3-4 like we do, you need to have a true badass freaking nose tackle up there that's just going to eat up space. And then you got to have guys on the defensive line that are going to be able to get pressure. And we don't get that. I mean, Harrison Phillips is a good player.
For the first 4 weeks of the season, we had somewhat of a decent looking front seven,
Yeah.
And for the last 3 weeks, we have not gotten much out of that defensive front seven. So,
no, I mean, I don't think we sacked Stafford at all last week, did we?
No sacks on Stafford last week.
No, we did get to Goff a few times. I think
twice or 3 times against Goff.
I think 3. Yeah, I thought it was 3, but
it's far in between though too.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing with Flacco. If you can get through to him, but the problem is Colts have got a good offensive line.
And I think what killed us last week, going back to last week, since we haven't touched base on it too much, was getting penalties on third fucking down.
Yeah,
is what killed us last week. We had drives that would have been dead at midfield that we allowed to extend because of some boneheaded fucking play on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, that one entire drive, we extended it at least twice with penalty. Now, granted, those couple of those penalties were pretty fucking ticky-tack.
They were.
Because we got to remember, this is the same refereeing crew that at the end of the game there did not see Sam Darnold get his head ripped off.
No shit.
I mean, Darnold almost had to go as the headless horseman for Halloween yesterday because he literally damn near lost his head against the.
Yep.
We didn't have Rhino's rants on Monday because I had some housing issues I had to take care of, but God damn it. Either that referee is a completely fucking incompetent or he's crooked. I don't know which one is worse.
We were in that position because that's how it ended up playing out, but we should have still been given the chance to extend that drive. It doesn't matter.
Well,
that face mask needs to get called.
When the defender comes off and goes like this, and he's like, he had that, oh shit, I just fucked up. And then, no, I don't see anything. No.
Right. Yeah, we were down 28-0, but that doesn't mean when we have a chance to go out and tie it up that you fuck us over.
No.
At least give us a shot to go down the field, especially if it comes down to a fucking a blatantly non-called fucking face mask play.
Right.
So,
I mean, and then we get a explanation from the referee, or we didn't have a clear line of sight. There are multiple camera views that show the referee and the back judge both looking right at him as he gets his head torn around.
Great point again by Drew here. He's on a roll tonight.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And that's a thing. I've said that I don't know how many times, and I know, Drew, you and I have talked about this before too, but yeah, you don't want to be in a position to where the officials can cost you a game.
This Vikings team needs a quick passing game. Where the fuck is our quick passing game at?
Yeah. Now,
where is it?
Kevin O'Connell pointed that out specifically this week about going more of an up-tempo, quicker passing game.
Top shelf playmakers on this offense. There's no fucking reason why we should be scoring 14 points in the first quarter of the game and then only scoring 16 the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Drew hit the nail right on the head with that shit. We
Right.
have the offensive weapons. Put them to use. We in the first couple of weeks taking the will to win away from teams. I have not felt that since week 2 of the fucking season or week 3. You know, I mean, we got the weapons. Fucking use them. Figure out a way. And the leading receiver in the league this last week on separation, he was second, was Jordan Addison, and he didn't see very many balls going his way.
No. Now, this week, of course, against the Colts, we do get an additional weapon back. TJ Hockenson fully cleared off the injury report. Kevin O'Connell has said he will not be on a pitch count. He will be 100% good to go. So hopefully we can use him to attack that middle a little bit. If you're going to, if you're running Jefferson and Addison and Naylor out to kind of clear these guys out a little deeper, we should be able to feed.
3 great wide receivers.
Yeah.
And then you pop Hockenson in there. I mean, damn it.
We got to, and the Colts defense is not good against the run. They're 31st in the league against the run. So
great point. Disgusting act.
Yep.
We have
Aaron Jones.
Right pinpoint time. We have not been the same team since second half against Green Bay.
Yeah. And I don't know what happened in that second half, but it's
exactly it. Spot on. Yeah. Drew's in on it too. Spot on. We have not been the same team since the second half of that Green Bay game.
No. I mean, we were able to pull it out against the Jets, but yeah, I mean, well, even as badly as we played, we should have beat Detroit. And I don't know what happened last week. That I'm hoping last week was that obligatory one. We come out and shit the fucking bed game that the Vikings tend to have every season.
And a lot went into that game against the Rams too. It's a short week. We weren't expecting what came up to fruition. I mean, we got slapped that game. Yeah. And whether or not Kupp and Puka were in it, we just weren't ready to win that game. And now it just needs to be. We need to get back to winning ways this weekend. Starting this weekend against the Colts.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not going to make any excuses for that game against the Rams. The Rams came in on a short week, just like we frickin' did.
Yep.
But they came in more prepared, and they,
Yeah.
Drew, you're absolutely correct. The Vikings have fallen back on the play not to lose attitude. Yeah, we need to go out there, and let me say our buddy Rapp
coaching has been up and down this season. He's had his moments where he's been a great head coach, and then he's had his moments where he's had those head scratching moments in this year.
Yeah, I mean, and I hate to say this, I know I had watching our buddy Rapp on his show here the other day talking about this. As much as I hate to say it, the Vikings need to get some of that Detroit Lions attitude where you're just going to go out there and just pummel the shit out of people
for the entire game.
Remember the crappy horror movies from the late 80s? Hero knocked the bad guy down, and they just relax. That's us. Yeah, that's just it. Just smash them over the head with a stick and turn around, and walk away, and then they do the Undertaker rise up behind you. And
you can't use all your energy in the first 2 fucking series of the game and then fucking sputter out the rest of the way.
No. And that's
you can't put all your energy into one big bubble for 2 fucking series of the game and then expect yourself to hold on the rest of the way. No, you fucking you spread out that energy throughout the entire game and you win.
Yeah. Well, and here's another thing that I want to hit on through the first 15 plays of the game, the scripted plays. The Vikings are top 5 in the league in offense.
Yeah.
And after that, they're like 25th or 26th.
Well, I think we're the top of the offense in the first quarter by miles.
Yeah.
We lead the league at first quarter points and by a shit ton.
Well, those 2 touchdowns the Rams scored in the first quarter last Thursday were the first touchdowns we've given up the entire season in the first fucking quarter. We'd only given up 3 points in the first quarter up to that point.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was telling you too last week. This Flores defense is starting to remind me a lot of the Flores defense towards the end of last season, and I'm hoping that's not the case.
Yeah. Now there was a Norsevius. I tend to agree with you on this. I think they might need to look at some of that. Again, I don't know if it's O'Connell gets too into it and too starts overthinking things during some of these games, but if we continue to struggle, I'm completely up for that. I mean, we've brought that up before in the past.
I don't think O'Connell does that. If he's head coach, O'Connell he's not gonna give up his play calling duties to the offensive coordinator. I just don't see it happening. It's a pride and ego thing. I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you on that, but it may be, if we continue to have the problems we've had in the second half and beyond here, it may be something that's not KOC's call. It may be, hey, we need to try something else here.
Right. Yep. And then I also think this whole Flores is God on defense talk needs to simmer down a little bit.
Yeah, it does.
Because over the last 4 weeks, I haven't been too impressed with what I'm seeing on that side of the ball. So,
no, I haven't either. But now, one thing I think,
I agree with Orpheus, but that's just how it is.
Yeah, one thing I think we need to kind of look at here. In preseason, Ben Gessling, I actually had heard him talking about this today on Dan Barrero's show on KFan. In the preseason, preseason, we were talking about the fact that we wanted to run more man defense this year, and we're running, towards the bottom of the league in percentage of man defense.
Yeah, we're running a lot of zone. It is hair-pullingly angry when you see receivers in the middle. There's just a wide open space in the entire middle of the field on our defense.
Right.
Where do you think they're going to go with the ball?
Yeah.
Now that wide open space, and that's what they've been doing.
Mm-hmm. Now, I think some of that is boiling down to the fact that they're finding out that Gilmore and Griffin and those guys can't.
They don't have the juice.
They can't play man anymore. Gilmore used to be good at it, but he's another one like Patrick Peterson. He's getting too old
have the juice
to be able to do that.
And I think right now, Murph is our highest graded out at corner right now.
Yeah. And we don't have, again, much behind there. We had Mekhi Blackman, who's out for the year with an ACL. Of course, unfortunately, we lost Kyrie Williams at the beginning of the year.
And the ability to adjust in game has been huge for us this year, too. We have not been able to adjust in game on both sides of the ball. That's what
exactly.
It pisses me off immensely because you can see it as a fan watching the game. Where are the adjustments? Where are the adjustments? There aren't any. There are none.
No, it doesn't seem like it.
Throwing the same shit out there every series and hoping that it eventually works when it's not.
Or even what's even more infuriating to me, we saw this.
And then you see the other teams making fucking adjustments against you, and it just fucking drives you crazy.
Right. But part of the problem that I've seen with the adjustments, especially on the offense, we are making adjustments, but unfortunately it's the wrong ones. We saw, the last couple of games, Justin, that one drive, Justin Jefferson and Aaron Jones were marching down the damn field at will for the first two drives against the Rams last. Then all of a sudden we quit going to them.
Either that's because they adjusted to our game and we didn't adjust back. That's
because of that, or we just started calling other stuff because we got off the scripted plays and it's like, oh, we better try something else now. Now, I mean, I'm going to go off of this, and this has always pissed me off. I don't care who the coach is, who the team is. If something is working for you, you keep going at it until the other team proves that they can stop it. It's a thing, looking at.
Maybe that's what happened. Maybe they were proving that they could stop Jefferson, but that's when you turn around and you start taking shots to Addison, or you start taking shots to Naylor, or this weekend, perhaps when TJ Hockenson comes back, you start taking shots to TJ Hockenson. But I feel like they are adjusting to us. That's why they took Jefferson out of the game, and we didn't adjust ourselves back to them during the game.
But I don't know. But they didn't take Aaron Jones out of the game, because when they finally did go back to Jones, he still did the same damn thing he was doing.
Agree.
He was running at 4 to 5 to 7 yards a clip.
Jones had a good game last week for sure.
And Justin Jefferson, I don't care if you got a safety over the top or what. More often than not, he's going to be fucking open. And when you said, if he's not, you've got Naylor and you've got Addison on the other side. You can't double cover everybody.
Bingo. Yes.
So somebody, and we saw this, we saw that in the game against the Jets, and we saw it against the Lions as well. A lot of those plays where Darnold was trying to force it deep, there were 2 to 3 guys that were open in the zone somewhere else.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
we all know.
I think it missed a wide open Aaron Jones that would have been a touchdown too.
Yeah. Well, and then, of course, against the Rams too, that Jalen Naylor didn't do himself any favors. That one that he dropped, if he'd have caught that, he'd have scored on that one, and then we would have probably ended up winning that game. But
and honestly, our offensive line has not been held up very well against the pass rush, which hasn't been giving Darnold, time to go through all of his reads.
No, but the same problems with the offensive line are the same problems we bitched about for the entirety of this show over the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Garrett Bradbury at center.
Yep.
And
Ingram at right guard.
The ticker tape parade of suck at right guard that we've had for the last 4 years.
No, this right guard bullshit's been going on since Spielman's time. Willie Beavers. Does that name ring a bell to you? Pat Elflein at center before Bradbury. Does that ring a fucking bell to you?
Mike Remmers at right guard.
The right guard and the center have been shit since 5 years in the before Spielman got fired. We have not solved that issue.
This isn't just a Kevin O'Connell thing. No, and it's been this whole thing that they buy into this theory that interior offensive line doesn't matter.
We haven't had a good right guard since Joe fucking Berger was here, and that was years and years ago.
But before Darisaw got hurt, we had arguably the best tandem of tackles in the league. Yeah, so they're not getting pressure out around the outside, but they're getting pressure up the middle because we got a center who gets forklifted every time we come up against somebody who has even a remotely decent defensive tackle. And Ed Ingram is no better.
I don't know if it's more of a thing about Addison needing to step as it is needing to find a way to get him the ball. Because like I said earlier in the show, he's doing his work. He's getting open. He's finding separation. He's just not getting the ball.
Yeah. Yeah, we can find a guard. Yeah, I remember when Zimmer said that. You can find a guard. Yeah, you have to have competent play out of your interior offensive line, because if you don't, your quarterback cannot step up into the pocket because the pocket's not there.
Right. I look for Jared's comment there too at the, before all those guys. Yeah, and from what I heard this week is that we should be looking forward to seeing Turner on the field much more coming up.
Yeah.
He's well aware. Flo is, and I look for Turner to see many more Snapchats. This is snaps.
He's gonna be sending Snapchats during the game now. Yeah.
Right. No, but I look for his snap count to go up immensely, and I look for Patrick Jones to be the one that probably loses snap counts.
Well, and I think that at least for a lot of this part of the season, that's why Turner hasn't been getting the snaps, because Pat Jones has 5 sacks.
And I don't know if we've seen the NASCAR package recently either. It seems like we've seen it all through the first 4 weeks of the season, and recently we have not seen it, where we got 4 or 5 pass rushers on the field at one time.
Yeah. I mean, you bring Jihad Ward up and put him at defensive end, and then you're putting or Pat Jones at the other guy end, and then you're still bringing Ginkel, Grenard, or Turner, or whoever off the edge.
Right.
Now this week, just looking at the injury report, the Colts starting left tackle is out this week, Bernard Raymond. They have a rookie who will be starting in his place. So,
well, I think the Rams had 3 rookies start on their offensive line this last week, and it didn't matter. So,
Yeah, Turner's never been a drop and cover linebacker like Gink. No, that's true. He's not. He's a pass rusher. He's not a, having him drop into coverage. I mean, they tried to have him play inside linebacker a little bit the other, game or two ago when Cashman was out, and that didn't work out very well because he's not a cover guy.
No.
That having Turner try to cover tight ends and everybody across the middle was like having Danielle Hunter drop back into coverage.
Was the thought that was in my head and you just spoke it. So yeah, exactly. I agree.
So yeah, very good point on that, Norsefius. And that's the thing and we're going to have the same problem again this week because again, we have no Blake Cashman. So you're going to have.
Has he been ruled out?
He's out.
They did rule him out.
Yeah. He's ruled out today.
Okay.
He's out. Tiamani's out.
Those turf toes are a bitch, man, for real.
Yeah.
You just don't know. There's really no timeline that you could put on the fucking turf.
Well, I know
toe.
Kevin O'Connell had talked all week that they were hopefully he was going to play, and then he didn't. He didn't practice on Wednesday. I figured it was going to be kind of a.
Guys that have turf toe have been known to miss big chunks of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it can linger.
Yeah. Now, here's the other one. Dalton Risner still listed as questionable. Has not been officially activated to the roster yet.
It's got to be getting close to that.
He's got to be. I think he's got to be activated either tomorrow or Sunday.
Got to be getting pretty damn close to where they need to activate.
Because I think they brought him, opened his 21-day window back on the 13th of October.
They said he's close, so it's gonna be like a Hockenson. Then they're gonna wait till the last minute. They're gonna activate him. Then whether or not he goes on Sunday, I don't know.
Well, the thing of it is, if Sunday is his last day, they got to activate him tomorrow, or they're going to lose him.
Like I said, they're going to do like they did with Hockenson and wait till the last minute and then activate him. And
but I don't think they can wait till after this game. I think he has to be activated tomorrow.
Okay.
And the way he's been talking, he's fine in practice. He's been good. So
they got whatever planned, and that's what's going to happen. So it's just us to speculate, but.
Yeah. Camel turf. We won't. We'll save that for VU after hours. There, Drew. Norsefius has a fly in his beard. Dang it!
Fucking sick.
God damn it! Fucking flies.
Close your eyes and swallow.
Yep. That's what she said.
Oh man, wouldn't be the last time you heard me say that.
Yeah. I don't ever want to hear you say that.
Yeah. I don't want to ever have to tell you that.
No.
Anyways, moving on.
Anyway, yeah. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, it's bulleting back out of the ditch a bit.
Shit.
How about we get into the keys to the game here and see what you think. I mean, not that we haven't talked about it for the last 20 minutes already, but what are your keys? The Vikings coming out with a victory on Sunday Night Football there, Brunswick.
You can't let Flacco get comfortable. You let Flacco get comfortable, he's going to tear you up like all these other vets have done against us. Shut down the passing lanes, get your hands up on defense, whatever it takes. I mean, through the first 4 weeks of the season, these guys on defense were doing a great job of getting their hands up every single time the quarterback released the ball. The last couple of weeks, I haven't seen much of that. Getting in the passing lanes, making life tough on Flacco, getting to Flacco, getting home. After that, not letting the run game beat you. Shut down the run game. And on offense, get into rhythm. Find your rhythm and stay in rhythm. I mean, don't just play for the first quarter of the game and then hope, we come out with a W. I mean, get in rhythm, stay in rhythm. A nice team win would be great, a complimentary team win where we play good in all phases. Will Richard is an animal, man, in his own right.
Yeah.
I love what I see out of our kicking special teams. Keeping that rolling, It's nice to know that when it's time to kick a field goal, that your guy's going to come in there and nail each and every single kick,
right,
for the most part. But yeah, making Joe Flacco uncomfortable first and foremost when he goes to pass, and then shutting down Jonathan Taylor in that run game is going to be huge on defense. And like I said, on offense is just finding some sort of rhythm, getting the ball, spreading the ball out to everyone. on offense will be huge for this team. So figuring out a way to get the guys that are stars on your team the ball.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, for me, it's on the offensive side of things. I know they brought it up this week. The Vikings have been one of these slower to throw teams in the league.
Quick passing game, man.
Quick passing game. Get that, especially now with Hockenson back. You're going to be able to hit some of those quick slants in the middle.
Not line of scrimmage quick passes, like a quick slant.
Yeah, you're talking, 4 to 7 yard
or a dig route.
Yeah, across. Just something across. Clear the coverage deep with Jefferson and Addison and start hitting.
And hit all those. I don't care if you have to dink and dunk all your way down to get a touchdown. Do it.
Good morning, Nympha. Filipino fan club in the house. But yeah, take what the defense is going to give you. If they're giving you the short passing game, dink and dunk the thing down the field all day long.
It's a chess match. Fucking play the game to win.
Get running game going and don't go away from it when it's working. Get Aaron Jones involved. And when I say get Aaron Jones involved, even these little short, screen passes and stuff that are as good as a run.
Right. Or the hitch routes,
3 to 4 yards. 3 to 4 yards a pop with Aaron Jones. You can be moving the ball down the field at all day long. Spread the ball around. Off it, we're going to have to make sure we make this work with Robinson or whoever's playing at left tackle so that Darnold has time to throw. But get the ball out quick, and that'll help alleviate some of the pressure off of that. On the defensive side of things, you cannot let Jonathan Taylor beat you. Stop that run. Make him one-dimensional. Make him have to throw the ball because their wide receivers have not been doing their quarterbacks any favors this week.
It's not a great group of receivers over there.
No, I mean, you've got
Pittman Jr., and even he hasn't looked that great this year.
Pittman's their number one guy. Josh Downs is their number two. Neither one of them have done much of anything all year.
And neither one of them would be the number one receiver on many teams in this league. So
no. And if you can get pressure on Flacco, if you can pressure Flacco historically will throw an interception or two if he starts getting knocked around a lot. But if you give him all day to sit back there in the pocket, he's going to pick you apart, even with subpar wide receivers.
This season so far.
So you got to get it. You got to get him off his marks. You have got to knock him on his ass. I don't care if it's a sack or if it's just disrupt the throws.
Yeah, put your hands in the air. Yeah,
our back end has been good at getting interceptions. So get a couple of air balls up in the air and get a pick or two. But the defense is going to have to come out to play this week. They're going to have a plan, and they are going to have to be able to execute the thing and not get beat like we have the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever it's, the going into the Green Bay game and then against Detroit and against the Rams. And these guys in the coaching aside, the players have got to come out fired up, pissed off that they've just lost 2 games. We went from the number 1 seed to the number 6 seed in the span of 5 fucking days.
Yeah. Yep.
You've got
win now time is tip of fucking league.
You've got to play like your job depends on it, because for a lot of these guys it does, because they're on 1-year contracts and things like that. And if you play like garbage, you may not get another deal. It probably won't be here, and it might not be anyplace else. Gary, good evening. Yeah, we've been firing off on that here for a bit.
Right, back up in the episode and you'll catch it all. We've been talking about it throughout the entire episode.
Yep, and that's hitting on my keys here right now with the defense. We got to close those zones up. I know they aren't either not capable or aren't running as much man as they want to. Maybe you got to try it a little bit.
No, and you can't. You're absolutely
no,
right,
you can't, Drew. If we drop to 5-3 here, you're going to have to raise the DEFCON.
You better be
level
hitting that
against
panic
them.
button then, because I mean,
Yeah,
something's not right.
right. But we win and we go 6-2. We've got the schedule lightens up as far as
It does.
because we have coming up. We have Tennessee. We have
We got
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville next weekend, and then Tennessee.
Yep. Then we also have Arizona coming up. Then we end up with the Falcons and the Bears a couple of times coming through here yet. So we still have the capability to make plenty of hay in this. And the NFC is wide open. Detroit, obviously.
I'm still at 12-5 here. I still believe it. Unless we come out this weekend and we shit the bed against the Colts, I'm still a strong believer that we can finish the year at 12-5.
Yeah.
So,
but like I mentioned when we first started the show, it's hard to say that you have a must-win game when you're sitting at 5-2, but this is a must-win game.
this is all about morality of this game.
It absolutely is. You lose this game, and doubt's going to start creeping into the locker room and all that stuff, and it's going to go off the rails, and it's going to go off the rails.
This game is all about morality right here. I mean,
Yep.
if you go out and you win this game, then you keep the roll going, and if you go out and lose this game, then there's a lot of question marks.
Yep. Drew has been lighting up the comments all night long here. Another great one here. Schedule lightens up, but when you beat yourselves, no games a gimme. I can't agree more than that. Gilmore, the only option right now, Gary, there isn't a whole lot. I mean, we were talking about that before. You don't have much. I mean, Dwight McGlover, and obviously
the trade market, then I think Gilly's the only option.
You know, looking out there, I know I've heard some cornerback names thrown around, and we talked about this at the beginning of the episode too. You know that
DJ Reed, one of the names.
Yeah,
JC Horn, another name.
DJ Reed. Now, you know, with the Jets winning last night, they're still holding on hope that their season is still something there. Right. If they'd have lost last night, I think he probably could have been had.
Yeah.
But yeah, but if you're going out and getting a good cornerback, you're going to have to give up. You're going to have to give up our first round pick next year, probably.
Yeah, and you know what? Like I said earlier, I don't know if any of our corners got that juice to play man.
I don't think they do either. And that's what Flores needs in this defense, because you have to be able, and it's all predicated. And again, the last couple of weeks, we haven't been getting home on the pressure. And we saw this last year. That is where the defense started to fall apart, was when the front seven was not getting pressure. The blitzes weren't getting home, and then the back end gets exposed.
You know, and I think it has been a huge loss. It's not an excuse. This isn't a main excuse, but it's been big not having Cashman out there at linebacker.
Yeah. No, it is. Cashman is a hell of a player, and he has been the juice. It's been, you know, he's been calling the plays. He's been getting the.
And if you're going to run a decent zone, he's a good linebacker to have.
Yeah. Can't give up next year's first for cornerback when it's going to New York for Dexter. Yeah. The Giants aren't trading Dexter Lawrence. We can, you know, as the old saying goes, wish in one hand and shit in the other one and see which one fills up first. I would love Dexter Lawrence here, but you are not going to the Giants aren't getting rid of him.
I mean, yeah, honestly, for a group of corners that can't cover man anymore, the best medication for that would be either going out and getting the corner that can, or going out and getting the defensive tackle that could cause some chaos in the interior of that defensive line. Yeah.
Yeah, Gary, there's no excuses for it. Gilmore had a bad game against the Rams.
He did. Ugly game.
Unfortunately, most of our defense had a bad.
Well, it's bad. It's bad when Murphy's your best rated corner on the team. You know, in the last few weeks. So.
I mean, well, and that's no slight on Murphy. Murphy's a decent
no, that's not a slight on Murph. No.
And Murphy playing in the slot is where he does his best work, and you know he's played well for the most part, but it's the guys on the outside that haven't been pulling their weight the last couple of weeks.
Like I said, this defense is not the same defense we've seen the first 4 weeks of the year.
No,
so
it's not.
We need to get back to playing defense like that compared to what we were playing defense like now.
Right.
So, and I mean, and there was a couple of games there where we didn't have a couple of guys on defense, and we thought, well, how's it going to be? And we went out, we played well, you know, and now I don't know what's going on, but Flores has got to figure it out.
He does.
And like I said, this whole Flores' God talk needs to simmer down a little bit until he starts to prove it again that, this defense isn't something to mess with.
Yeah. I still have
right now, everybody's beat it up.
I still have faith in Flores. I think I think he's the guy for the job. But yeah, he's got to make some adjustments, and whether it's giving somebody like Nudie McGlothern or one of the guys that hasn't been getting much playing time, giving them a shot out there.
Right.
Or what it is, or if they, I'm not real big on giving up that number 1 pick next year to go get a guy, but
if it solves the problem and it's a for sure thing, then yeah.
It does. It does if you can go get a proven guy that's on a contract that you have tied up for another 2 to 3 years, yeah, then I'm okay with it. If it is a defensive tackle or a shutdown cornerback, then yeah. If you can go get DJ Reed, go get DJ Reed. If you can go get Jeffrey Simmons or
JC Horn, I'd be okay with too. Horn's
one of those guys, go get them.
Yeah. Anyways, we're sitting at 7:56 here. We thought this was gonna be a shorter show this week, and we need to get to our picks.
Yeah. So with that, again, we will move on to the. That's kind of the point I was kind of getting at. That if it's a proven talent already, yeah. I mean, Kwesi has pretty much nailed free agency and trades and things like that with players. The draft has been a little bit of a struggle, but anyway, with that, we're going to move on to, again, the regionally famous, fairly well known and watched by tens and tens of people every week, the predictions segment, where we look at not only the Vikings game for the week, but also what our rivals in the NFC North are doing. And starting that off, we got a big one this week as the Detroit Lions travel to Lambeau Field to take on the Packers.
I got Detroit in this game. Green Bay almost went out and laid an egg against Jacksonville, and Jordan Love still does not have me convinced that he is the savior for that Green Bay team. There's still a lot to me that he has to prove, and it showed last week. I know he was battling some groin issues last week during the game, but still, I think Detroit can easily go in there and take care of business this weekend and knock off Green Bay.
Yeah.
So I got Detroit in this one.
Yeah, I was on Freezing
Detroit's the best team in the league right now until proven otherwise.
Yep. I know I was on the Freezing 4 podcast on Wednesday, that NFC North Roundtable that I frequent on, and I said the same thing. Jordan Love going in there with a bum groin is a downside. Now, if they end up going with Malik Willis, they're going to run the ball a lot more, and Detroit does allow a fair amount of rushing yards. So Josh Jacobs could be sitting on a big game, but there again, Green Bay will give up a lot of rushing yards too. And we saw what Jahmyr Gibbs can do, and Montgomery's been having a very good season. But Jared Goff, I mean, the last month, he hasn't had a QBR under 140.
Jared Goff is the lead in my book right now, is the lead runner for the MVP of this.
I agree with you. And I mean, we
the
look
dude
at
is fucking people up.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we look at it. The only team to hold Detroit to under 40 points in the last month was us.
Yeah.
When we held them to, we had them at 31, but I think Detroit's going to make Green Bay have to throw the ball. And I don't know if they're, if they can do it with the, Detroit has no pass rush right now. Anzalone's but
that defense is still playing good ball in Detroit.
Yeah, it is. It is. It just, but they have no pass rush. So if Jordan Love's playing and they let him have time, then, I think Green Bay maybe has a chance, but yeah, I think Detroit's going to win this game.
I don't see Green Bay winning this game. Honestly, I could care less who wins, but if I'm picking
it would help the rest of the NFC North if Green Bay would win this game.
Right. But I just don't see it happening. So yeah. I got Detroit.
Yeah, I think I do. I do too. I think I don't know that it's even going to be particularly close.
Detroit's
but
rolling right now. Detroit's
They
rolling
are.
right now. They believe in what they got going on. They are the team to beat in the NFL right now.
Agreed.
So
Um,
even over the Chiefs, right
yeah,
now.
I think if Detroit played the Chiefs right now, I think they're beating the Chiefs.
And the Chiefs are flying. I mean, they're treading water right now. I mean,
Yeah,
they're undefeated, but they're beatable. They're
Yeah,
beatable.
Mahomes hasn't looked that good this year. I mean, he's
No.
at like 1 touchdown per interception, right in that range. So I think he's like 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. So his stat line isn't that great, but we saw it last year that they didn't look that great during the regular season, and then they
This
turned
is
into
Kansas City, right?
yeah,
Once
they
get
turned into the postseason juggernaut and just ran through everybody.
Yep.
But anyway, on to the next game. The Chicago Bears traveling down to sunny Arizona to take on the Cardinals.
Cardinals have been up and down this year. They play a good game, they play a stinker. They play a good game, they play a stinker. I am not sold on the Bears. They have a great defense. That offense though is just hit or miss with Caleb Williams at quarterback, and like they haven't played many good teams. They played a good team this last weekend, and they ended up giving up that Hail Mary at the end, and
which was hilarious, by the way.
Which was hilarious. Yeah, I loved it. I watched it live. But they don't have me sold at all by any means. I look for Chicago to flounder off as the season wears on. I don't think Williams, knock on wood, I hate to say it now, but I don't think Williams has any luck against our defense when we play him. So, but that's down the road.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with Arizona. I don't think I don't have no trust in Chicago at all, and I could see Arizona winning this at home in Arizona.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if it was
the defense, though, I'll give them that. That defense is good.
Yeah, if it was in Chicago, I think it might be a little bit of a different story. Yeah. But now I haven't seen what the Bears injury report was, but I know as of Wednesday, Montez Sweat was not practicing. So if he's not playing, that's a big blow for the Bears defense as well. But the Bears Caleb Williams had 36 yards passing until that fourth quarter.
Yeah, until the fourth quarter, right. And we've seen that a lot this year out of Caleb.
Yeah,
Williams,
we have.
Started up until later in the game.
Yeah, he's been complete ass for 3.5 quarters, and then gets a couple of good drives to make his stat line look a little bit better than it actually is.
Once again, last week he had he took a sack for 15 fucking yards.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't win this league taking the sack for 15 yards at a spot.
No. Now on the other side of things, Arizona. Kyler Murray is a question mark, wrapped in an enigma, wrapped in a.
The new Call of Duty just came out, so who knows?
Is it out now?
Yep.
Okay, so that there again, that's going to have an issue too. I was thinking it didn't come out until next week, but I'm not a gamer, so I don't know all this. I just know that.
I agree, Drew. I agree.
Yep. I think so too. We're talking the other night. Chicago has Arizona, and then they have New England, and after that, their schedule gets tough.
Brutal. Yeah,
and I don't think they can. I don't know that they beat Arizona this week, especially if Sweat's not playing. Marvin Harrison's starting to make his presence known a little bit in some of these games. They're starting to get him.
James Conner's a lot better than people give him credit for.
I was just getting to that. Their running game has been pretty decent. Kyler Murray can, still moves around and does all that, but. Yeah, to a disgusting acts comment here. They're inconsistent, and you don't know which Arizona team is going to show up.
1 week they look good, they're decent, and the next week they look like crap.
Yeah, first couple of weeks they were actually leading the NFC West for a week or so there, and then now that they're. But I think I don't trust Caleb Williams at all. I don't trust Matt Eberflus even less. With that being said, I hope he gets a 10-year contract extension in Chicago.
I'm not a big fan of Jonathan Gannon, though, either. I respect because he was here a couple of years, too, but he's not very good down there in Arizona. I don't think he's head coach material, just like I don't think Eberflus is head coach material either. So
no, I mean, so yeah, it's going to be an interesting game, but I think Arizona pulls this out. And I think Chicago, like to Drew's point there again, Chicago is about ready to be bitch slapped with the reality of the NFL season.
And that Chicago defense has been bailing Caleb Williams out this entire year. Outside of the one game that he had where he exploded, Williams did for all those yards and like 4 touchdowns. that defense has been what's been getting Caleb Williams these wins.
Yeah.
So,
and again, that game when he exploded was against a horseshit team.
Yeah.
I think it was against Tennessee. Was it against Tennessee or who was it? No, it wasn't Tennessee. It was Tennessee was the first game of the year when he. I forget who the hell it was.
It was a couple of weeks ago. It was a couple of weeks
ago.
It was.
I forget who it was, but I got the Cardinals in this one too. So that brings us to our creme de la creme, the game that caps off a full Sunday of football, Sunday night football. The Indianapolis Colts coming to US Bank Stadium to take on the Vikings.
This is the game that we should win. And a game that we need to win. You hate to say it, it's a must-win game, but this is a game that we need to go in and get back to our winning ways. Get back on the right track, and take a little bit of that medicine in the next week, and hopefully we can get back on a roll here. The best thing that eliminates the thought of loss is winning.
Mm-hmm.
So get back to winning, and we can. 5 weeks down the road where we've won 5 more games in a row, then we can forget about what happened earlier on in the season. Hopefully we got things figured out. So I'm going to go with us winning this one, and I think we should. We're at home. We're in front of a national TV audience. Let's get back. Let's get right. Let's show the world what we can do when we're rolling on all cylinders.
Yep. Jared just kind of stole my thunder here a little bit. The last time the Colts came into US Bank Stadium, the Vikings had to pull off the greatest comeback in NFL history in order to win the damn game. Let's not get into something like that this week. Let's get out there, come out, start fast like we have every week, but instead of petering out in the second quarter, keep the foot on the freaking gas. The Vikings are, everybody's trying to be claiming that the Vikings are legit and they deserve respect in the league. If you are a legitly good team and are deserving of respect in the NFL, you need to win the games you're supposed to win. This is a game the Vikings are supposed to win. This is a game the Vikings should win. This is a game the Vikings need to win. And they need to come out with some fire, play pissed off from the start, and go out there and just bury these guys. Do what you did to the Houston Texans.
This would be a game where I would like to see us keep them out of the end zone all night. Make them kick field goals. 24-9, 24-12.
I don't even want it to be that. I want the Vikings to be pushing 40 points in this game. I want them to go out there and put the league back on notice that, hey, we're not going anywhere. We are a good team. We are going to compete in the NFC for a shot at the Super Bowl.
It's going to take a couple more weeks of wins to get that respect back that we were starting to get toward in the beginning of the year. It's going to take us 2 to 3 wins to get back in that conversation.
It is, but we have we have a schedule coming up. The next 4 games are all games that we
winnable
should be. They're not winnable. They are games that we are supposed to win if we are a good team.
Should be sitting at 9-2 in 4 weeks.
If we can't win these games, we're not a good team, and we don't deserve to go to the playoffs anyway. So let's go out there, take care of business, do what they need to do, and come out of there Sunday night with a convincing victory.
Yeah.
So with that, I want to give you a big thanks to everybody in the chat again tonight. A lot of great conversation, coming with the knowledge, throwing the fire. Loved having you guys in the chat every night. That's why we do these shows live, because it is so much fun to talk football with guys and people like you guys in the chat who know the game and come with great information, great questions, great knowledge every week. Thank you so much for that. Shout out again to everybody. Shout out to the Filipino fan club over there halfway around the world watching. Shout out to my lovely wife upstairs who's also watching, because she's going to, if I don't, she's going to say, why didn't you shout me out on the show? And again, thank you guys. Let's go get a win on Sunday, and let's get this doom and gloom out of here and get back on the winning ways and back to feeling like we were feeling 3 weeks ago. So with that, take us home, Lance.
Yeah, we need some medicine, and the best medicine is some winning right now. Let's go and get some more wins under our belt. Like I said, hopefully in 4 weeks we could be saying that we're sitting at 9-2. And what happened 4 weeks ago doesn't matter anymore, that we are who we are and we know who we are and we have some sort of identity, because right now we're struggling to find anything right now. And that all could come to an end this weekend with a victory over the Indianapolis Colts, where we can get back up on the right foot moving forward. So with that being said, let's go get right on Sunday, and we'll see y'all next week for another episode of Vikings Uncensored. Skol.
Have a good weekend, everybody.